What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Powerful Fitness Podcast, episode number 29. And we got a banger of a guest. We got another basketball player. So I'm bringing on Chris Harris, aka C5, and he is a basketball player out of Chicago, Illinois. He's played for a few teams y'all might know of. SEMO, which is, as you all know, is the hometown where we're at right now filming, Cape Girardeau. So he played at SEMO. He's also played for Switzerland and England. So that's pretty tight too. I've never been out of the country, so that's pretty awesome. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's run it from the top. Like I always do with my guests, let's just talk about kind of where you're from, your age and kind of where you grew up. And then, I see his point. Sorry, guys, before we start, I got to give a shout out to my sponsors. And this podcast is brought to you by Duke Concrete Finishing. So, Duke, like I always say, guys, Jeremiah Duke, he's an awesome guy. He runs a phenomenal company. Anything you need done that's concrete, you can hit up Duke Concrete Finishing. And if you want to see what his work's like, you can literally go straight to his Facebook and see all of his jobs from start to finish. So you truly get to see like their work and the quality of it. And I mean, he's just an awesome guy. He's been sponsoring me now for quite some time. And because of that, I've been able to buy things I need for my fight camp, like shorts, gloves, supplements, and all that good stuff. So man, I can't even say how much I appreciate having an awesome sponsor like Duke. And if you need any construction done, hit up Duke Concrete Finishing. And then I also want to give a shout out to VIP Lock Studio. If you need your hair done, your hair in Cape, especially if you got dreadlocks. If you got 1 inch of hair on your head, she gonna give you a whole head of dreadlocks. I seen her do it the other day with somebody. So if you need your hair done, hit up Kenitha, okay, VIP Lock Studio. And then also, if you want to, come on, man, I'm trying to podcast over. What's going on? No, also, okay, if you want some tattoo work done or you want some piercings done, go to the Golden Eagle Tattoo and they'll hook you up, man. As you see, I got my sponsors on my shirt and I got to represent, they're helping me get my bills paid and go from broke to less broke, all right? So we love our sponsors, and I always got to give a shout out to them. And y'all better go and get some business done with them. All right, thanks. All right, Chris. So let's go ahead and let's start from the top. So you said you're from Chicago.
Yeah, from Chicago, northern suburb up there. So growing up, played a lot of basketball. Obviously, Chicago's a big place, right? You got a lot of hoopers from the top all the way down, and then. Not to mention the rest of Illinois, right?
Chicago Bulls.
Yeah. Chicago Bulls. They've never really been my team, but, I'm more of a LeBron guy, so I've been kind of riding that wave. But
well, you young.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to get into that. It could be a whole ordeal. We could be up here for hours. But, yeah, man, Chicago's nice place, especially for basketball, getting to see Derrick Rose and stuff like that, definitely influential in my career as much as I can say I don't like the Bulls and stuff, right? Being around that kind of atmosphere definitely attributed to me developing a love for the game. So, yeah, that's Chicago's home, and I love it.
So when did you really start playing basketball?
Yeah, so I started playing basketball probably when I was like 5 or 6. I had an older brother. He was really good at basketball. He was, always there training, so I'm always there on the sidelines at his game, with the ball in my hand. So started at a young age, and then I was always kind of chasing on his heels, He was always, like I said, he was really good, so I was always trying to.
How much older is he?
About 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're 5, 6, he's 9, 10.
Right, exactly. So he's doing stuff that's a little bit more advanced. Even when he got older, he got into high school, and I'm still in middle school, he's dunking on me and stuff like that, stuff that I just...
He was dunking on you in high school?
Yeah, like, I remember, like it was yesterday, we had to play him in open gym, and does a post move, right? And, he playing on grown men when he playing against, other people his age, but on his little brother, he gonna back me down and turn around and, slam it on me. I fall on the ground, get hurt and all that. But,
wow.
But, that was big for me because, I go play my age level. I'm playing against grown men, so...
Right.
Shout out to him, even though he's crazy, but...
Okay. So, how tall are you?
About 6'3".
You're 6'3"?
Yeah, don't sound so surprised. You saw me walking here.
I know, but it does surprise me because when I see you, I wasn't like, whoa, this guy's super tall. But
Yeah.
I'm 6'1", so that's
Right.
I guess
that
that's
makes
why.
sense, yeah.
But look, what's crazy is there was this one guy that I knew. He tried out for the SEMO team, but I don't think he ever made it. But this dude was so tall when he would walk into my house, like he had to duck just to get in. I don't know how tall he was. This dude was tall.
Yeah, we got a couple.
I mean,
like
ridiculously tall.
Yeah, it's crazy. Being my height, it is. I'm always one of the smallest players. You know, as you go up, players get bigger. You know.
So when you started, when you were like 5 or 6, were you one of those kids that was like crazy training, like doing all these different drills and stuff, or did you just kind of start like most kids, just playing that season? Then maybe when it's not basketball season, you're playing a little bit, but not like really training.
Yeah, so I'd say when I was a little younger, it was more so, you know, playing the season end, go play different sports, play football, play different things like that. But then as I got older and, again, as my brother got more serious about different things and we obviously started watching more college basketball and stuff and started to set out goals for ourselves, right? And that was when it started to shift from, okay, you can still play football if you want, but you should be training, you know, pretty much year round, you know. So when it's time for basketball season, you're ready. So, and then it got to a point where I did stop playing football for a while, picked it back up in high school, and then I was like, basketball is my thing.
So when did you start? When did you decide? Okay, basketball is it. This is the career I want, and And you started training like year round.
Yeah. So probably like 6th, 7th grade is when it got pretty serious. I'd say that's kind of when you start to realize either you have to put in the work now. Or
so that's like what, like 13 or like 14?
Yeah, I'd honestly even say probably like 11 is probably the age.
Oh, okay. So, my math's way off.
Yeah, well, I don't know specifically, but I can just remember kind of the time period. And
okay.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, so it was kind of like year round, you know, and it wasn't anything crazy because, you know, we had school, we had to travel to school, we had to do, you know, I had an older brother, I have a younger sister as well, so, you know, they have needs as well, so, you know, we could train, but we could only do like once or twice a week, so, and then you have practice, and then, so there's a bunch of other stuff to do, but it was definitely part of the regimen for sure.
Okay, so, I actually get a lot of questions. I'm trying to think of how to structure all these, and I really want to start mostly from the beginning. So when you were, let's say, when you were in high school, what was your training like?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, you know, towards the beginning, I would say I was training. It was harder to do the personal training and stuff I was doing. I had to switch it more to high school workouts and group workouts. But, you know, I lived 45 minutes away from the school that I went to. So, you know, I had to wake up at, you know, 5:30, drive 45 minutes, get on the court, practice, and then be in class at 8. And then you go through, we might have a lifting class throughout the day where I'd lift. And then after school, you know, you'd have practice, get up shots, whatever. And then you go home and you have a choice to make, right? You can go home, you can relax, or you can go home and go to the gym. And a lot of times I either went to the gym or did something, you know, at least I'm going to go do my ball handling or something like that. So my training, a lot of times when I got into high school, it got away from a trainer and got more to me putting in the work.
Dang, so that's like 4 sessions a day.
Yeah, you just need a ball in your hand. And then once I got to be like a senior, it was easier. I transferred to Lake Forest Academy where I actually graduated, and it's more of a prep school in terms of treating you like a college player. So like I'd have free periods during the day now where I don't have class at all. Like I'd have, you know, 4th, 5th, and 6th period off. So I'm like, okay, like I can go to the gym 4th period, you know, shower, eat 5th period, and then 6th period I'm chilling. You know, so I go get up some shots or do whatever I need to do, and then I'll be back in school, you know, ready to go.
So do you feel like for a high schooler, is it more important to focus on like drilling with the ball, like the techniques of basketball, or okay, I guess what's a healthy balance between strength and conditioning and then actually drilling with that ball?
Right. So I could think it kind of stems back to kind of the first part of your question is who are you? How old are you, right? If you're in college, it's going to look more your weight training almost just as much as you're, in the gym. If you're in high school, you should be really focused on more like technique, skill development, and stuff like that.
Okay.
Younger than that, honestly, you should be straying away from playing, right? With my AU team, I tell in my training, I tell a lot of my kids, like, hey, if you're not like 10 or 11, like, you should probably just be training. And then once you hit that, then you can start playing, right? And then once you get a little older, you can start adding a little weight training. And then once you get to college, you should be full-time weight training and weight training with strength and conditioning. That's kind of how I think of it, weight training.
So the weight training isn't that important when you're in high school?
Yeah, it definitely is. I'd say in the later years, right? Especially for basketball players, right? We're really, you have a lot of players who are tall, right? A lot of players who are lanky. So if you start lifting too early, right, that could hurt your growth. Especially a lot of these people don't know how to lift.
Okay.
Right, you know what I mean? It's good if you know how to lift and you can lift as a freshman and do it without, ruining your body. Like, absolutely go for it. But how many kids can actually do that? You know what I mean? So, like, the vast majority of kids need to stick to, as you get to junior, senior, your body matures a little bit more. As a basketball player, now we need to start adding in more weights, Like I said, when you get to college, you're not going to have a choice. It's going to be full-time. But you need to kind of prep yourself the last 2 years for college. That's kind of how I think about it. Then before that, like I said, it's skill development, and it really should be speed and agility right before the weight training. Right, you get your speed and agility going the first 2 years of high school. That's kind of how I think of it. And you should be getting your body able to move. Now you strengthen up your body, so now when you do those movements, you're less prone to injury.
Okay. That makes sense. Because my son, he's about to be going into high school, and he wants to be a hooper. And that boy, that boy's scrawny.
Right, yeah.
That boy.
Right. But and that's the thing. It's like, it's the same thing.
I can't wait till he watches this.
Right, no, but for real, though, like, because you know how to lift, right? You're an athlete.
No,
so
I do not know how to lift.
You don't know how to lift at all?
No.
Nothing.
I will be the guy in the gym that would probably hurt himself because I don't know how to lift. Like, people probably laugh at me when I'm lifting in the gym. I don't know anything about weightlifting. I've had people, when I was doing personal training, people hit me up for weightlifting. I tell them, look, I don't know anything about lifting weights. If you want to lose weight or you want to build up your cardiovascular endurance, I'm that guy. But when it comes to lifting weights, I don't know anything about lifting weights.
Right. Which is fine. But I mean, an easy starting point, especially like I'm saying,
I know functional stuff.
Right, but starting to get into high school and getting into college, I'd say, push-ups and sit-ups, right? That's not going to kill you. You can do 500 push-ups, 500 sit-ups a day. Start strengthening yourself like that if you don't know what to do. Now you do that for 2 months. Now you should be researching how to weight lift. So now in 2 months, when you're kind of sick of it, doing the push-ups and sit-ups, okay, I'm ready for something else. Now your body's used to working out, tearing down those muscles, repairing it, and now you're getting a whole different set of functions when you start weightlifting in a year or two, what I mean? So it's just kind of like preparing your body for it and then jumping into it and just like, it is what it is, because it's going to suck at first, especially as a hooper. Like I said, we use our athleticism, we're jumping, we're running, we're doing a lot of stuff all the time. So like you lifting and kind of shrinking yourself kind of, it sucks at first, but once you get used to it, your body gets used to it. You start doing stretching, right? You start adding different things to your regimen to kind of combat some of those things. You start to become a better player. So,
have you seen any of the, the knees over toes guy?
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, I do some of his stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was wondering if more basketball players have gotten hit. I know this guy is pretty big online, and I was just curious how many basketball players are really like following him and trying some of the stuff that he's doing because. I mean, I do when I got time, but, man, I'd be so busy with my martial arts training. Yeah. And then if it's not martial arts training, I need to be doing stuff like swimming and other things for my cardio to be able to fight hard. Right. I don't get a lot of time to necessarily work on things like that. Yeah. And, I mean, I implement it, but yeah, I was just curious about that. I just had a question that literally just slipped my mind. It was something good too, something juicy.
No, you're good. But the knees over toes guy he's awesome. I do. I don't have, like you said, I don't have the time to buy a course and do what everything he's got going on. But his free stuff, I can add that to my warm up,
right?
Or add that to my cool down, and just do stuff like that. It can take away pain. So, there's always little cheat codes and stuff you can do to just kind of revamp it. So.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. So, if I ask you, all right, say I got a kid, all right, he's playing basketball. Say he's in junior high, okay, going to high school, and he's like, I want to play basketball. I want to get to the NBA.
So you're a kid.
What? Yeah, my kid. I mean, I'm not the only one though. There's
I'm
plenty,
just
but
messing with you.
so my kid. Yeah, definitely. A lot of these questions I'm asking is going to be because my son wants to play
of
basketball.
course. Rightfully so.
So what do you think is like the determining factor for a kid to make it to the NBA?
Motor, like meaning
motors in their drive.
Yeah, but it as a basketball player, when you say motor, it encompasses a lot of things, right? It's your drive, your work ethic, but like, can you play your hardest for a whole game and then go play another game your hardest? You know what I mean? And then go play another, and then you look the same. The biggest difference between the high level athletes that I've been around, like I'll use Jay Scrub for an example. He's an NBA player right now, right? We went to junior college together. I'm a Division I player, right? I'm a professional basketball player. He's in a different category simply because he can push his body mentally. Like, he's crazy. He's nuts. But we'll be, 3 days in, JUCO practices are nuts, 2 games a week, whatever it is, and we come to practice, and he's windmilling like we haven't done anything all week. You know what I mean? And, yeah, one, it goes back to his athleticism, but, it's just that drive to where he's like, nope, it's time to hoop.
Fire.
Everything else is off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter at all. And, I have drive, I have heart, but, it's a little bit of insanity. You know what I mean? To be and, also another thing with that ties in with the drive is the mindset, right? You have the mindset that you are the best. You're delusional that you're the best to the point that you become the best. You know what I mean? And that's really what I see oftentimes in my peers and where I missed out and where I see other people succeed.
Dang. That's the exact same for fighting.
Yeah.
You have to be crazy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy about it.
Yeah. I think about LeBron. I remember seeing him as old as he is, and this is probably 8 years ago now. He's played for I don't know how long, but because he's a GOAT. But you remember seeing him, and right after the NBA Finals, right, you just play the whole season, right? And they're like, "What are you gonna do next?" He's like, "Oh, I'm stepping away from basketball. That's fine." And everybody's like, "You're stepping away from basketball? You're not doing anything?" He's like, "No, I'll be lifting tomorrow." You know what I mean? And he's he just went through a whole season. He's not taking no days off, no time off. He's right back in the weight room. He might take time off from basketball, but his body and his mind is still going. He's still thinking. You know what I mean? Stuff like that I think about. That it's man, it's just he's just strategic with it, man. That's just all it is, honestly. And you just you got to be crazy, but you got to be crazy smart about it too.
So what's the number one workout to build up your stamina for basketball, to be able to play those
Mm-hmm.
hard, fast-paced games?
Yeah, playing games. It's the only way. The only way to get in basketball shape is to play basketball. There's nothing you can do. I can go run on a track for as long as I want to, right? You'll have people who are naturally in shape and can run, but if you're out of shape and you can't get in basketball shape, the only way to go to the rec, go get guys who, even if they're terrible, right, and get up and down. Right, you should be sprinting every time you're playing, right? So now you have to condition yourself for basketball. There's no other conditioning that involves running, jumping, grabbing a rebound, dribbling, throwing it up the court. Now I got to sprint. Now I got to get back on defense, right? There's nothing that's going to prepare you to do all that back to back to back to back.
What about suicides?
I mean, suicides are good, but that's only in transition, right? That's half of the game.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so
that's
what
not
about
shooting,
right,
jumping.
Right, exactly. You're just running, right? But what about jumping and then doing the suicide? You know what I mean? And then every suicide you run down and you jump into that's more realistic, but you can't do that. Right? That's not that's a hard drill to do, right? But the only thing that simulates that, you know what I mean? That's the only thing that simulates that, and to be able to push through that is make it competitive. Now I got Nate Johnson, now I got Phil Russell, now I got Nana Kenton, right? These other guys who are screaming at me, telling me I'm sorry, right? Yeah, he's tired. He can't hoop. You know what I'm saying? For real though. But the only way for me to get in shape is for them to be like, yeah, come on, we got to play. Yeah. There is nothing else. Now's the time. You got to just play. So playing basketball is the only way to get in basketball shape, to me at least.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, and that's why I say to people that's so as far as getting into fight shape, the number one thing is going to be sparring.
Yeah, you got to fight.
It's going to be sparring, like wrestling, and then you're back up. Now you're punching, kicking, and the next best thing to that, I would say, honestly, is hitting pads.
Yeah.
Hitting pads and wrestling, that's it.
Are you talking about for stamina?
Yes.
Just strictly stamina?
Yeah, to be able to actually go to rounds.
Yeah, exactly. Play the length of the game at the peak that you started with or very close to it. You know what I mean?
Because, man, I had, you know how you do things when you're a kid and then you don't do it for a long time and you're older and then you try and you're like, oh, I didn't realize how exhausting this is. Basketball is freaking exhausting. Full court games?
Full court games is crazy, man.
What?
Especially when you're out of shape. Yeah.
Don't even try it.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Yeah, man. It's not fun, but once you get in shape, it becomes fun. Because then it's
right.
Like, you know.
But like me, when I watch a basketball game, if I see someone that's not hustling, I'm like, what is this guy doing? I'm like,
probably not in shape. Yeah,
like this guy ain't even in shape. What's going on? He ain't hustling.
Yeah, and a lot of times it looks like, oh, he's just not playing hard. He don't want it, right?
Right.
When in reality, like you could want it.
You can
as
want
much
it
as the next person.
Your body can't do it.
Right. It's because everything's gonna show what you do off the court. Yeah. What you do outside of here is gonna show up in the court. That's why I tell my players all the time. You know, you come into training and you look like you haven't touched the ball since our last session, right? Don't look at me because you're not getting better. You know what I'm saying? I only have 2 hours a week with you. Right. I can't help you make a team in 2 hours a week. It's just impossible. You have to do something outside of here.
Right. And as a trainer, you're not there to get people in basketball shape. You're there to teach them how to play the game.
Exactly. I shouldn't be here trying to, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't be here having to teach you how to dribble the ball. You know what I'm saying? You should already know how to dribble. I should be able to teach you what to do with the dribble now. You know what I mean? It's just simple, basic stuff like that. I shouldn't have to wait 5 minutes every time you do a layup because you're tired. You know what I'm saying? You should already be playing enough to where you can come in and do 5 layups in a row and we go to the next side. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of, I'll get on a rant with that because you know how the training is. And you know with like the kids and stuff like that, like how kids can be. And it gets to be a whole ordeal. And then, you know, the parents aren't holding them accountable. Then they try to bring them here to be held accountable. And
that's fine. Bring them to me.
Yeah. Yeah, but it sounds amazing. But then again, like we said, we got 2 hours with them a week. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not being reinforced at home, you come here and now we're butting heads, you know, and now you're gonna get upset at me, but it has to. It takes a village.
Oh, well, they can't get upset at you.
Oh no. I'm saying in reality, like you can get upset all you want. Like I can only do what I can do.
Right.
You know? So like, but you know, it's just that perception that some people have of the game, and like you said, it's harder than it looks. Right. Just
it's
because Lil Johnny's doing it, Lil Johnny's been doing it for a couple weeks now. You just started trying. You know?
Yeah. So are you still playing or are you just training right now?
Yeah, so I'm still playing. Like I don't have a team right now. I'm looking for teams and stuff like that for next season. So my season's over for now. So I'm back here training, staying in shape, and then running my businesses in terms of my investment company and my basketball company. So that's literally what I'm doing now. Normally the way the seasons work is I'd leave around September, and then I come.
I was just thinking about when you said you were 6'3", he said, don't act so surprised.
Yeah, like, that was crazy.
He said, you see me outside.
Yeah, like, I shook up with you. We walked in here and everything. Like, he said, you 6'3"?
Yeah, like, look, man, I be in my, look, sometimes I don't pay attention to certain things.
Yeah.
That's what.
I mean, you got 100 things going on. I feel it.
But like I said, I'm 6'1", too, so I'm 6'1", so that's why I guess. But usually when someone is literally an inch taller than me, like, I notice it.
Yeah, you notice
but
it. So what you trying to say? I'm like 6'1"?
No, I just wasn't paying attention. That's, yeah. I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know. But, so how much do you weigh?
205. Just weighed myself today, actually.
Dang. So that's like, so what is like considered like a lighter weight person for basketball? Because the thing is, I don't know much about basketball. I don't.
I think it comes down to what age group would you refer to?
No,
high school,
so
college.
for like the NBA, so like is there like for the most part you got to be a certain size, right?
Mm-hmm. I feel like the NBA you'll have like you're looking like at an average of probably like 230. Because you're gonna have people. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of people who are 260, 270 who are bigs.
So like me, I'm 6'1", I'm 160 pounds. Is like, can you be that size and be in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have guards like that. That's what's pulling down the averages. But like at the same time, like De'Aaron Fox probably isn't. I don't know how much he weighs, but I know he's not more than 220 pounds. You know, so like. I'm not sure how much. Should we look it up? Who knows?
Yeah.
But you got like what? You got De'Aaron Fox. He's a smaller guard. You got like Ja Morant, who's not gonna be well over 200. So you got a lot of guards who are staples, and then you got shorter guards.
Ja Morant, he went to Murray.
Murray,
Murray, yeah. My son was saying he'd like to go there.
That would be a good school.
Saying that Ja went there. I don't know anything about college. I ain't going to no college. So,
Bro?
No, I didn't go to college.
No, I didn't know that.
I was in the streets.
Yeah. Made it out, though. That's all that matters.
No, I was just working and trying to take care of my kid. So
I mean, yeah.
I dropped out of high school and went and got my GED.
Oh, yeah?
I said, what? I can just drop out and go get my GED?
Yeah.
I said, equivalency? It's equivalent?
Yeah, I mean.
But if I could go back, I would have went to college.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the experiences and different things like that
yeah,
you have,
I definitely would have.
Yeah,
I definitely would have went and did things differently, but
situational.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. They say, maybe if I would have went to college, I never would have started fighting.
Yeah,
there's no telling. I would be in some. I'd probably like some IT job or something.
No, I mean, if I so put it like that, I'm glad you said that. So. If I always think of stuff like that, right? So I feel like God always works in mysterious ways in my life. So he's like, I get hurt, right? Tear my ACL first year at SEMO. Boom, I'm out, coming from JUCO. Okay, next year I come back. I'm like, okay, I'm back. Then we get hit with COVID.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then I haven't played a regular season, right? But I get 2 years of school. So now I just graduated my bachelor's, still haven't played. Now I get an extra 2 years. Right, so now I play one more year, right? Almost done with my master's. You know what I mean? Play another year, end up getting my master's, winning championship, going to NCAA, all that stuff, right? But it never would have happened if I didn't get hurt. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I think about it. Like there's no way it would have happened, if I didn't get hurt. And I was devastated when it happened. I'm like, my career's over.
Yeah, ACL, I mean? That's a bad. Yeah. That's.
I'm like, my career's over. Little did I know, like it hadn't even started. You know
right.
What I mean? So it's like. Everything happens for a reason. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure I tore my LCL and my meniscus like 3 years ago, and my knee looked like a freaking cantaloupe. It was huge.
You said pretty sure. So did you go get it checked out, or you just rubbed some dirt on it?
After a couple of months, I went and got the MRI, and they're like, oh, there's no sign of a tear. I'm like, so it hit. Like, is it possible? Yeah. They're like, well, typically there still would be some type of sign. I'm like, well. I mean, I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm pretty sure it was tore. I mean, I couldn't bend my knee for months. Like it was, like seriously, it was bad. It was
way too long,
dude. It hurt so bad. Like for weeks, every night it would be hurting so bad when I was trying to sleep. Like I was in tears, and I don't cry. Like I'm not a crier, bro. I don't unless I'm like watching some type of anime. And, it's really heartfelt, but I don't cry.
Nah.
And I was in tears, dude. It was bad, dude. It hurt.
Dude,
bad.
You can mess yourself up bad, and look, tears can come out for anything. Like I say that all the time. Like if you don't cry, like you're not in tune with your emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like
look,
I let that out.
I only cry during I just got done watching Hajime no Ippo. It's a Japanese boxing anime.
I just finished it.
You did? Yeah. So there's a couple episodes on there where I started crying.
Oh, I ain't gonna lie, I did too. I ain't gonna hold you. Look,
I was never crying. I said,
man, I ain't gonna get into it. It hits you though sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I be like, dang, like that's crazy you say that because I started watching it when I was in England actually.
Really?
And I was over there and I'm sitting up there like. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, am I tripping right now? Like, I'm up here watching this anime, up here crying. Like,
hey, one time I was watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and there's a part where Prince Zuko, him and his uncle had a falling out, and then when they like reunited, and he was talking to him in the tent, and he started crying. Like I started crying, right? And my daughter comes in. She comes into the living room, and she comes up, and she sees I'm crying. All I see out the side, out my peripheral. Okay, my daughter head comes like this. She says, "Are you crying?" And she was like 6 at the time. I was like, yes, it showed. And she says, "Ha! and runs into the room and gets my son and says, brother, dad's crying. Come look.
That's crazy.
And he's like, what? And he comes into the living room. He's like, you're crying over the show? I'm like, yeah, man. And I started explaining what's going on. He's like, huh,
Yeah,
okay. And he just walks off. And she's just laughed. She thought it was so funny. She's like, cry, baby, cry, baby.
That's crazy. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 31.
Yeah, so you right in that Avatar era to where it was like, when was that actually? I'll ask you.
This was like 3 years ago.
Right, but did you watch it when it first came out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I was a kid, yeah.
So you're in deep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're emotionally tied to it more than you even know. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
If it's anything that has to do with like fighting, I don't know what it is. It just gets to me.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like the anime and stuff like that.
Hey. So when I was locked up, we was watching what's it called with the football player? Dang it, what's that movie with the?
Is it a movie or a show?
The Blind Side.
Oh, yeah.
We was watching The Blind Side, right? And there's this African in there, and he kept getting up and walking away, and I knew there was something wrong with him. I didn't know what was. I thought he was just like stressed out because obviously we're in freaking prison. And then he told me afterwards. He said he was crying because the movie. I was like, that's why you kept walking to the door. He was walking to the door, wiping tears off his face.
Hey, The Blind Side was emotional too, though. I ain't gonna lie.
I swear to God, he said this. I never had one of these before, and she's like, what, a room to your own? He said a bed. I said,
yeah.
hey, look, I was like,
Nah, literally.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
That is tough though. Yeah, Blind Side. I mean, man, you can go down the list. I feel like people who just don't be in tune with the movies just be kind of watching them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get fully invested, man. And the thing, it's just funny though because nothing in my life makes me cry. Yeah. But these movies, man, they get me.
Yeah,
they get me, but that's why I love them. Like I don't know. For me, it's like watching TV and movies is like it's like meditation and therapy for me. I can really just zone into it. Just like everything in my life doesn't even exist.
Yeah, you can just yeah. It's an hour and a half. I get 90 minutes to just not care about anything but this.
Or I'll use it for motivation. Like, dude, you know how many times I watched that Hajime no Ippo and I pause. I'm like, yep, time to go train. I'll pause it. Like I just got done training. And it's like I'll pause it and get up and go train again. Yeah, just because it fires me up.
Oh, plenty of times I didn't went to the gym just based off of that.
So how long have you been a vegan?
I'm definitely not vegan. You have any dietary restrictions like that?
So I was a vegan for like 5 years.
No way.
Yeah. And then I went to prison, and
it was a little hard.
You can't do that in there unless you just want to eat beans and rice.
Yeah.
So I got back on. I started eating meat again, and since I got out, I've still been eating. I eat mostly just chicken and eggs. I don't really eat beef or anything, or fish or anything else. I definitely do not eat pork. That's my one thing I will not eat. But yeah, as far as meat goes, I just eat chicken and eggs. Everything else is vegetables and fruits. Avocados, I eat like 3 of those a day. That's like my number one. If I could only eat one thing for the rest of my life, it'd be avocados. Yeah. With some salt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Some pink Himalayan salt.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So what's your diet like?
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, man. Like I'd say in college it was trash, right? I was just like eating whatever. But as you get older, you want to prolong your career. And I just started, looking into more ways to do that and just to prolong my life in general. Right. And just seeing, like, a lot of processed stuff we eat here in America. And then going also to Switzerland and England, like, a lot of that stuff isn't terrible over there for you like that. You know what I mean? So just seeing that and then coming back, man, I started eating basically all whole foods. You know what I'm saying? Like eggs. You can eat. So my breakfast will be like eggs, avocado. I have a kiwi. Trying to think what else.
I don't really mess with the kiwi because sometimes they like, I guess the acidity of the acid in them, it kind of like makes my tongue a little raw-ish.
Yeah, some
so that's why
I can't get down with apples because of that. Because so it's just different fruits.
Apples?
Like I just react differently with. But I'll do that, a banana, and then probably some Greek yogurt with like some honey, some raisins, some stuff like that. That'll be a breakfast, and then I try to eat twice a day max. because I feel like most
Twice
of
a
the time,
day.
yeah, I eat bigger meals, but like in my off season, I'm eating like twice a day. So like right now, I feel like I'm at my off season weight being like 205. So once summer gets ramped up, I'll start trying to put on a little bit more weight to be a little bit more sustainable during the season and stuff like that, and try to get to like 215. But I mean, I don't need to put on too much weight. But so that's why I eat. My body's in a fasting state most of the time, so I try to stop eating around 8, 9. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. Not eating too late.
Yeah, definitely can't eat too late. And, again, whole food. So it'll be, chicken and rice. It'll be fish and rice. I eat red meat. So it'll be maybe steak, rice. I try not to eat too much, too much carbs before bed. So sometimes it might be, depending on if I eat dinner at 5, I'll eat more carbs. If I eat dinner at 7 or 8, it'll probably just be the meat and the vegetables. You know what I mean? And then I've seen my body just become completely different, like 35 pounds different.
Yeah.
But feeling like just as strong, and just as like, just feeling better, just moving better.
So what other type of carbs do you eat? You eat bread?
Dude, I hate the bread in America.
So that's why I ask you. You need to try Ezekiel bread.
What's it called?
Ezekiel
bread.
Ezekiel
like in the Bible,
bread.
Ezekiel.
Exactly. So and that's where they came with it. There's an Ezekiel verse in the Bible that talks about how to like make your bread or whatever.
Oh yeah, there is.
And so I got some upstairs. I'll show it to you later. But when you buy it, it's gonna be in the freezer. Like if you go to Walmart or wherever Snooks or whatever, it's gonna be in the freezer. You take it home, put it in the fridge, and you got to keep it in the fridge. But the way they cook it, basically, it actually like unlocks the nutrients more, and it's just you'll feel the difference. Like it's the kind I use for my because I love avocado toast, and that's like the perfect freaking breakfast for me. So yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
So I stray away from the bread, but I'd be down to try that, just especially if it's like
it's better than rice.
If it comes in the freezer,
because rice is nothing.
Yeah, rice is just kind of like empty, and it's just
empty. It's just,
and then you'll eat a lot of it, and then you know what I'm saying, you're pretty heavy.
And then I would say if you are gonna eat rice, I always recommend the wild rice.
Yeah,
it's black.
Wild rice, and then put some turmeric in it. That's the cheat code right there.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are huge. I like the regular rustic potatoes.
You like eggplants?
Eggplants? I don't eat too much eggplants. I like chickpeas. Eat chickpeas.
Oh my god, I love chickpeas.
There's some chickpea pasta that I'm messing up, dude.
Man.
And you can eat a lot of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's not, but like the regular pasta is a no go. I eat the regular pasta and I'm on the toilet. Like it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You can do the squash, or is it squash? They use squash to make
I think
pasta
right.
noodles or whatever.
Squash. Yeah.
That, and I think zucchini too. Zucchini noodles.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I've been just straying away from all the stuff. You walk through the food aisle and, once you start looking at all the ingredients, you realize you can only eat probably 10% of what's in the grocery stores.
Yeah, and then as an athlete, it's like, dude, you're going to feel the difference every day in, like, your overall energy and how you feel, especially when you're doing 2-a-days, like.
Yeah, and especially if I'm only eating a certain amount of times a day. Like, I need to be able to eat a lot.
Right.
And not overload myself with a bunch of calories.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
You got some people, like, when they think about eating, they're like, oh, well, I haven't ate anything today, so, I can eat this little piece of crap meal, and I'm not going to gain any weight because I haven't really ate anything. It's like, but, so you mean to tell me you haven't really ate nothing all day, and then when you do decide to eat, it's going to be crap? Like, you got the wrong mindset. Right. But some people actually think like that because they think in terms of, like, how much they're eating, but not the quality of what they're eating.
Right, and it's like, that's fine if you do it for one day. You know what I'm saying? But if you do that over the course of a week, now it's like, okay, that's an issue. You know what I'm saying? You're not eating real food for 90% of the week, 80% of the week, 5 out of 7 days. Like, that's crazy.
You mess with beets?
Beets? Yeah. I used to, I need to get back on. I used to take them before games. So, like, beets, like, I had chews, and then I had, like, a powder I would go ahead and put in.
I just get the raw beet juice.
Yeah.
Mix it half. Mix it half with water, like 2 hours before my fights.
Dude, it be having you like wired. Yeah, you be like,
oh yeah,
you just feel good. It circulates your blood and everything, and you're like, okay, like now you can perform at your peak.
It does make a difference
for sure.
Yeah. I should start doing steroids so I could really be, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, turn to a beast.
Right. Yeah. That's
Nah,
what everybody does nowadays.
Too bad they don't allow it in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how many people just find their workaround. So, but yeah.
A lot of people be on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
most
mean,
people.
I don't blame them. This stuff ain't easy.
Right, yeah.
It's hard. It's hard not.
That comes back to what
I
we
mean, I've
talked
never
about.
done steroids, but so I can attest for not doing it. It's actually pretty hard.
Right. That comes back to what we're talking about how some people, want it just as bad as the next person. because
Right.
They haven't put in the work.
Hey, some people, you
Enough.
know what they say? Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Right. No, literally.
So
then they find their way
so
through the cracks.
that's kind of. I feel like some people go on steroids because they're just freaking lazy, don't want to put in the work. But then you got the people that are psychopaths and they want to do every single thing to get
Yeah.
an edge.
Yeah.
Like they want to make sure their sleep pattern is dialed in. They want to make sure they're not eating the wrong stuff. They want to make sure they're getting massages, taking ice baths, doing every little thing they can to get that edge. And then they find out, well, hey, you can do this too. And then they just do it,
Yeah.
But see, I know me. I can't do no steroids because once I start, I'm never going to stop.
Right,
What?
Yeah. There's no
What?
reason. And
Like-
like you said, once you start eating right and realizing how like real foods can affect your body, like you can
Yeah.
hack your body. Maybe not as fast as steroids, but you can get the same result over time. You know what I'm saying? Obviously,
Not the same result.
I was gonna say obviously not the same result. But
Not
you
that
can-
Lance Armstrong.
Right, like when you get to that stuff where it's like you're clearly only getting that from steroids.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm talking about the people who want to just cut the corners. And,
So in basketball, how strict is like the testing? Is it
Man.
pretty loosey goosey? Like I'm sure, like you got a lot of athletes that probably get away with.
Yeah, I mean, you got athletes who get away with everything, and then you got
Yeah.
athletes who get popped with everything, right? I mean, a lot of the testing, we have 13 people on the team. And then it depends. Like pro, you're gonna get tested. It's random, and it's gonna be by FIBA. If you're talking about college, like in college, we got tested. 2 people from the team every month. So that's kind of how it's worked for me in my playing. But there's some people who just never get picked, and there's some people who always get picked. You know what I'm saying? It's if it's random, it's gonna be like that. But
Yeah, see, now that I'm a pro fighter, I have to like be careful even what supplements I take because a lot of people get tainted supplements. You go to GNC and get this protein powder, and little do you know, it's got some type of weird, steroid in it because they mix up the same stuff. Because I mean, you have like PEDs that are legal, a person can just go at GNC and there's certain things at GNC that a regular person can go and buy and use and
But you
and
can't
we
as an
can't.
athlete,
So
yeah.
and I don't know anything about any of that crap. So I just try to stick to certain brands that are at least high quality. So you don't have that cross contamination.
Right.
But as like and I mean I just went pro, so I'm not really that big about that. But once I like get close to like, okay, the UFC might be calling me, I have to actually go on their website and look at like they have brands of like supplements that are like trusted, that are third party tested and stuff like that. So
why don't you use them now?
I just haven't looked at their list of stuff. I know that one of them is I can't think of it now. It's what all the UFC fighters use their stuff, but
But if you're like a college player, anybody listening to this, like just definitely ask your coaches or your strength and conditioning people before you take anything. It's the safest bet,
right?
Because they have to be able to cross check it and make sure that you're good. So never take anything into your own hands when you're playing with your eligibility and stuff like that. Like
right.
make sure you're always outsourcing everything. Obviously, you make the final decision, but you gotta run it by other people,
So, so what's your training been like here recently?
In terms of my schedule or like the
like you training yourself as an athlete?
Yeah, so I've kind of taken a little bit of time off in terms of again actively playing. Like I'll lift, I'll hoop, but right now I'm mainly focused on running my team. So for the past probably like 3 weeks, haven't been doing too much. Probably gonna amp up here in the next month. But right now it's literally, come into the gym, get my ball handling, shooting done, get my shots up, and then get some, maybe not like too heavy of a lift, but knees over toes, right? Knee stability and stuff like that, right? Because I know I'm going to amp it up hard here in a couple weeks, like I said, and start trying to put on a little bit of weight and starting to tone up and stuff like that. So
Okay.
that's kind of what I'm thinking. Because if you train year round, it's just a lot. The older you get, right, you just got to start training smarter. So
you can dunk?
Yeah, I can dunk.
Okay, I was just checking.
Yeah.
So I'm 6'1", shouldn't I be able to dunk?
You really should. Like, if you over 6 foot,
If I can't, I'm just a
but
bum.
like 6'1", like that's like the cutoff to where it's like if you can't dunk, it's understandable. If you can dunk, it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? If you're 6'2" and you can't dunk, it's like, and if you're 6'3" and you can't dunk, it's like, yeah. It's over for you. You know what I'm saying?
So if I was to come to the gym and we play 1-on-1, you think you got me?
Yeah, easy.
Easy?
You wouldn't
Easy?
score. Not a point.
Not a point?
Not a
point?
No chance.
What?
No chance.
I can't even get lucky and make
Not
one
even,
shot.
Like, it can happen. It's basketball. Anything can happen. But, like, if we shoot for ball, I get the ball first, you probably don't get an opportunity to score.
I don't know. I'm pretty good at getting them rebounds now.
That's what I'm saying. There are no rebounds.
Look. All right, so if I get the ball first, you don't think I can run it up?
Right, yeah. I think if you get the ball first, there's a good chance of you getting his basket. Yeah, it's possible.
I'm light, but I'm fast. I'm fast. What happened? Well, we'll just have to. We'll just keep.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. We'll go ahead and restart that, but everything's still good with the cameras and the mic, so I'll just have to use that stuff. Yeah, that's why we used. Well, yeah, that's why we now I'll have to get in there and edit everything. But yeah, see, the software is always be on some bull crap, so that's why I record with the actual mic, with the audio board, and then the cameras, so we have hard copies. So we'll just keep going. But okay, so I got no chance of what you're saying.
Yeah, it's probably not. Well, right now is your best chance. To when I'm kind of.
He said right now is your best
when
chance.
I'm kind of like I'm chilling. I'm worried about I got 7-8 teams. 70 kids to worry about their training and stuff. So I'm getting coaches, doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like my training has kind of been put on the back burner.
No, I suck at basketball. If I scored a point on you, I'd be disappointed in you.
That's what I mean. Like
I suck. Like
if you were like I used to play.
Here's what's crazy though. Like I never played basketball for real, right? Like I played like just like any kids rode a bike, right? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean they're cyclists. I never really played. I played like one season on a team when I was a kid. But other than that, I never like was one to play basketball. But what's crazy is when I get in there and I start shooting from that 3-point line, I can.
You happy. I'm like, you about to say some real stuff right now. Like,
no, I am serious. No, I'm being serious. No, look, he won't even take me. I'm serious. No, look, I'm serious. Look, when it got to a point to where like when I was walking around, people was like, I just kept hearing these sounds like, I was like, I'm looking, I just keep hearing. And I was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Excuse me, sir. Why you keep making that sound?" He's like, "That's what like we thought that was your name because every time we see you, we just hear
that was your name. It's crazy." Yeah, I need video of that.
No, seriously, look. When I get in there and I make sure my elbow's nice and tight, I be draining buckets. You got a
good chance, yeah. You got a good chance.
I be draining buckets. It's for me. It's all about like I have my times where I went there. Like my son, he does some basketball training, and sometimes I'll just shoot on a different court. And the days where I was just kind of throwing the ball up there is like, yeah, I might make some, but I'm mostly gonna miss. But the days that I was kind of like feeling a little motivated, like let me see if I can make some, and I was really focused on my technique. There was times where I swear to God, I make 10 threes in a row, and it would kind of amaze me. I'm like, dang, maybe this basketball stuff ain't as hard as they be making it look. I'm like, maybe I could actually get to the,
Yeah.
I could have been a hooper.
Yeah, now somebody offer you some bread to do it. Now you gonna start missing. That's the thing.
No,
You
they
go
offer
there
me some
free-
bread. I'm
yeah,
not gonna miss.
You think?
I'm like,
until you got it.
I'm gonna be like one of them
And then
pigeons.
you-
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Until you
You gonna be in there shaking.
No, but I definitely always I've seen guys that when they shoot, it's like they just don't miss, and I always wondered like if I could do that if I really just trained and trained and trained.
Yeah, no,
And I feel like I could.
no chance.
Yes.
No, because I can't even. I'm not even one of those guys. Like you can. There's like you know how like you got Steph.
Bro,
You can't be born. You can't.
you see all these belts, bro?
What does that mean?
I'm saucy. Is that a thing? Do they say that in basketball? I'm saucy.
Not no more. It's been maybe like 10. Maybe like 10 years ago.
I don't even know where I just got
that.
that saucy from. I don't know. That actually sounds kind of feminine now that I'm thinking of it. That's not. I'm not saucy. I don't know what. I can't recover from that one. But no. So yeah, I just always wondered like, dang, could I be good at basketball? Because I'm not the tallest guy, but ever since I was around. Once I hit puberty, I started to get, tall and scrawny, and I just always wondered if I could have been a hooper. Plus, basketball is just awesome. Like, when I watch MJ, I'm just like,
You'd be surprised.
should have been on the court. Like,
You should have.
You know what they
there
say?
for everybody.
they say all hoopers want to be rappers and all rappers want to be hoopers.
Yeah, see, I don't want to be a rapper though.
And I feel like no, I feel like a lot of fighters wish they could have played other sports,
Oh,
and
yeah.
actually a lot of fighters fight because they didn't actually make it in their sport. Like, you got a lot of football players that just couldn't really make the cut for the NFL. Like, they were good just right on that line to where it's hard for them to even be on that bench, and so they pick up fighting because they're strong,
That's
they're
a real thing.
explosive. Yeah.
Especially for basketball.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of different basketball players who end up being in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Who just couldn't make it.
Really?
Oh, there's a bunch of. Do you have? I mean, there's a dude who just got drafted. Don't know his name. He just got drafted to an NFL team from a Division III, or might have been Division II basketball team.
Really?
You know what I mean? But basketball players are some of the best athletes. I won't say they're the best, but they're some of the best athletes, like, in terms of versatility within sports. Now you go to, like, endurance and stuff, now you're talking about fighting and swimming and stuff like that, to where it's like, you're like, it's different. Like, our endurance is different. Like, we're stopping. You know what I'm saying? Once that bell rings, it's on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
For how long are the runs?
For professionals, it's usually 3 5-minute rounds, so 15 minutes.
Yeah, like, it's over with for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. But like, basketball, we probably play, like, the thing is we play, but there's whistles, there's TV timeouts. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of different stoppages. So,
Oh, and plus, if you ain't got the ball in your hand, I mean, not to say you can slack, but
I mean, honestly, it's the other way around. You got the ball in your hand, you're probably chilling.
Oh,
you know what I'm
okay,
saying?
okay. See,
So,
that's how
like,
you know I don't know basketball.
But I'm saying, like, if you're on offense, maybe, but if you're on defense, you're going crazy. You know what I'm saying? You're moving around.
'Cause
You're
when
always
you got the
moving.
ball, you can slow it down.
Exactly. Everybody's looking at you. Ain't no reason to go 100 miles an hour. Everybody knows where you're going. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You don't have the ball, nobody's looking at you. Now I can run and cut back door, and then you look up and, oh, who's guarding him? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm running when I don't have the ball.
See, the reason why I never got into basketball, because when I was a kid, I kind of wanted to, but I never got into it because I was just like, nah, I'm more of like a dodgeball player. Like, when I see a ball coming, I want to move out the way, not try to catch it. Like, even in baseball, I didn't want to catch the ball. I wanted to get out of the way. Like,
You ever play football?
no, oh, no. Like, for one season when I was a kid, I hated that. I thought that was the dumbest thing ever.
I mean, it makes sense. If
We're
you're
gonna
running out of the way with
run
the balls.
into each other. I'm like, I just nah.
No,
but
see, that's not the point of football.
Look,
You're supposed to run around.
I know, but here's the main reason why I never got into sports, because I never had a coach that helped me understand what was going on.
Man, I'm so glad you said that. So the basis of my skills academy, C5 Skills Academy, with the basketball and everything, is that's a huge, like I said, that's a huge thing within sports, in every different sport. Like, you have either a bunch of dads coaching that don't really know the game and aren't teaching it, they're just coaching so that people can play.
Right.
Or you just have people who are just out there trying to get money. You know what I mean? You don't have a lot of people who are genuinely like, hey, let me show you how to play the game the right
Dang,
way.
someone got
I
pipes
know.
on
For
there.
that to come down here, it's crazy.
Right.
But yeah, you need somebody who's gonna groom these, especially young men, who's gonna groom them and be able to show them this is how you play the game the right way. But then when you do that, you get a different access to them in terms of grooming them as young men and how to carry themselves within a family, you know what I'm saying, within a job and different things like that. So that's like the basis, the real basis of everything I'm trying to do. So I'm glad you said that, man. That's
and the thing is this, I might not be the most intelligent guy, but I'm actually pretty smart. Like, I was a kid in school, like, all right, like I said, I dropped out of high school, but I dropped out like a few months before I would have graduated as a freshman. The whole year, never once had a C. I had, if it wasn't an A, it was a B. I never had a C on any of my midterms or report cards. Like, I can, if you can sit down and teach me, I can learn it. I'm not one that cannot comprehend when I have a good instructor. So when I was playing basketball, they would always just say stuff to me like, "Oh, just stand right there by the goal and just get the rebound."
right, yeah.
I'm just like, but I'm like, I don't understand what are the plays. What I just didn't really understand what
What's the goal of the game?
What's the goal of the game? I didn't understand like the plays, how we're supposed to be moving, like what all can I do in this position? What is he supposed to be doing? When do I look for passes? Like, I just didn't understand. And then with football, it was even worse. I'm like,
oh, that's why I didn't continue playing football. It's because I don't know what's going on. I just know from watching the NFL.
I don't know what's going on. I'm lost here. Now, when they put me in free safety, it made sense. They're like, all right, if he gets past everyone, then you tackle him.
Exactly.
I was like, all right, bet. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Exactly.
This is cool. But then also, I wasn't a very big kid, so I didn't like that whole running into each other, and I had ended up getting in this pile up, and it was cold, and my hands was frozen, and my hands got stepped on. I said, oh no, I'm done with this. Never played again.
That's
Nah.
That cold and then them pile-ups.
I'm
the
cool.
Cold for football, I'm cool on. Like, I get it. But the pile-ups, and I'm at the bottom of it, I can't do it.
No.
Nah, that ain't for me.
No. But basketball, I could have played. I definitely could have if I had a good coach. But also at the end of the day, I wasn't fascinated by basketball. Yeah. I was fascinated by rollerblading and skateboarding, and of course martial arts. But I didn't start doing that until I was older. But yeah, I was a skateboarder. To this day, if I get on a skateboard, I got a whole list of tricks I can land.
No, I'm cool on a skateboard. That's
yeah.
Yeah, I'm scared of them now. No skateboard for me, man.
Yeah. I mean, I won't do it anymore just because I don't want to take the risk of falling, hit my elbow. Now I can't freaking train properly for months. Exactly. Now, so yeah, it's not worth the injuries I might get. I already take enough injuries from training. So
yeah, exactly. A lot of people don't realize that. There's a lot of stuff you can't do as an athlete, especially a professional athlete. Like that normal people can do. Like people go on vacation, they're going skiing. They're like, come skiing. Like, I'm like, no, can't do that, dude. No. I literally can't do that. I get hurt, I'm out for 6 months now. I don't have a job because I can't play. You know what I mean?
Like, even when I'm at work, like my day job, even though it's simple warehouse work, I'm like, for example, we pick up a lot of we work with shingles, right? I have to stack up shingles sometimes and take them to the customers. Like, I always got my gloves on, and I'm very careful not to smash my fingers on stuff because I literally need these every day to be able to train and fight. So like just little stuff like that, like. You know how the surgeons, before they do surgery, they wash their hands, right? With all that stuff, they wash their hands, and they walk in the room like this. Yeah, that's how I be walking around all day. Like, I can't let these things get.
Literally though.
I can't let these are my money makers right here. I can't let them get injured. So
like athletes' feet, it's the same thing. Or basketball's feet, but all athletes are feet. Like, that's the biggest thing for a lot of athletes, especially. It's more so like. You get it because you're on the ground, but like swimming and stuff is different. You're in the water, but like you gotta take care of your feet. Like it's something like a lot of guys go, I'm not going to get no pedicure. I'm going to get a pedicure. You know what I'm saying? I need to get my feet taken care of to the point. Well, now they're not gonna be in there scraping off the the calluses and stuff that I need for basketball, right? But you can take care of your feet to the point where, and that's what I advise a lot of basketball players to do. Mostly because I grew up seeing my older brother's feet and they were disgusting as a basketball player. But all that stopping and starting and stuff like that. Yeah, it's crazy how much you have to take care of your body and take care of your feet.
Yeah, and actually when I started doing martial arts, I didn't realize how weak my feet were. But when I took my shoes off and was really doing all, moving on the balls of my feet and turning fast and throwing kicks. I didn't realize like my feet needed to get strengthened up, and they got really strong from that. But yeah, it's hard to keep your feet healthy as a fighter because you throw so many kicks. And I mean, like, dude, my neighbor, he's 19. He's been training for a few months now, and he doesn't train with me. He trains at a different gym. But I pulled up to the house the other day, and he's on crutches. I'm like, bro, what happened? He said, I threw a teep kick and kicked someone's elbow and broke my foot. Broke his foot. 19. Luckily, he's young, so he'll heal up, you know.
Yeah, he'll be fine. But 19 is still like,
But he broke his foot. Look, I've been fighting for over a decade now. I haven't broken a single bone.
I mean, you have those crazy instances in every sport. You know, the things that just...
Yeah, but that's training. You shouldn't be breaking bones.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff happen in, like, practice. And, you know what I'm saying? I tore my ACL in practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like...
That's
anytime you get out on the court or no matter whatever it is, there's a chance for injury.
So what type of stuff do you do for like recovery?
Recovery, a lot of it is food. Like I said, eating the right things. But mainly stretching, man, and the weightlifting, going in there and doing like light stuff and recovery like that.
Look, future reference, don't say food for recovery because all the fat people, they're going to cling on to that for dear life.
Right? Yeah,
they're like, man, hey, I'm recovering. I'm recovering.
Yeah, no.
But no, you're right because the nutrients is what helps your muscles recover.
You just need the right stuff, like a lot of protein, you know, and that helps me recover a lot.
Stretching,
but,
you said.
Yeah, stretching is huge.
You ever like use sauna?
Love the sauna. I get in there. Well, I just got back to Cape like a month ago, but I get in there. I used to get in there every day, and then so stretch, sauna, food. I'm trying to think what else I do for recovery.
Ice baths.
Ice bath. I don't take as much baths, but I do ice. So I like take the bags of ice, and then I'll just wrap them on my knees or wherever I need to. So ice is definitely huge. Yeah,
I got a chest freezer, and I convert it to an ice bath so I can take one every night. But it actually just broke, so I got to buy a new one. So if anyone's got a used chest freezer for the cheap, I need that because I ain't got the money to buy a brand new one. So you can donate it to me, or I'll pay a couple $100 for it. Because mine, I don't know what. It's just all of a sudden when I plug it in, it turns on, but it's not getting cold.
How old is it?
It's a few years old.
It's a freezer?
Yeah.
You be putting water in it?
I'll show it to you, yeah.
You be filling it up with water?
Yeah.
Is it made for that?
You got to make it be made for that.
That's what I'm saying. That might be why it's
all you got to do is seal up the edges, and, I mean, it's made to get cold. No matter what's in it, it's going to make it cold. So, once you get it down to about 32 degrees, anywhere between 32 to 40 degrees is awesome.
Yeah, you're good.
And then from that point, I have it on a time outlet, so it only will turn on like 3 hours throughout the night. And then obviously before I get in there, I just unplug it, make sure no electricity could be running to it. Right. You know, for so I don't
reasons.
Die in ice bath or something.
That would be crazy.
Crazy. I'm like, I'm a beast. I'm dead.
It's over with.
I'm dead.
So we're plugged into the house,
Yeah. So yeah, you just unplug it before you get in, and dude, if you go look online, millions of people do this. Yeah. Because going and buying them bags of ice every day, that's, you know how much that's gonna cost. That's just so time consuming. So with
you might as well just jump in there and jump out. You done in 10.
Yeah, the actual ice baths that I would like to get, they're running like 5 to 10 bands. Like,
yeah, they got it.
Nah, y'all can save that until I get some money for that. But yeah, that's what I do that helps the most with my muscle recovery is the ice baths.
Yeah,
like when I do them every night, it makes me feel so much better the next day. Like my level of training is just like, I'd say like easy, gives me like an easy like 20 to 50% boost in my recovery.
Yeah,
like it's very drastic. When we're talking like 32 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 minutes every night. Yeah, dude.
I believe you.
I'm telling you, man.
I believe you.
I'm telling you.
And a lot of that, honestly, like, you attributing your performance is probably better, but a lot of that is just probably mentally. Like, you do just feel better. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, mentally, too. Yeah. And then the thing is, so it's not just the physical aspect. It's them ice baths is mental training.
Mhm.
And for people that, I mean, obviously, when it comes to a fight, all the fighters are getting nervous before the fights. Like,
yeah, no
it's a
matter what
fight.
you're doing. Yeah.
Now, a basketball game, maybe not so much, but even still, like, a lot of people do get nervous for their games. So it helps you. It helps you manage staying calm in a situation that literally is trying to activate your adrenaline because you're in this freezing cold water. So it's your body wants to activate its adrenaline. You have to like breathe and stay calm. So it does help with that too.
I can see that.
And then also it's like, dude, you get in there and it's so cold and you're like, there's no way this is even like humanly possible. And then you force yourself to sit in there for 5 minutes or however long you do. And then when you get out, you're just like, oh, I am a beast.
Right.
Like I'm a beast. Like, and then you got other athletes coming up to you saying, "Man, I don't see how you do that every night. I can do." I'm like, yeah, because you're not built like me.
No, literally,
Like, it makes you.
like we said, it's a mental.
Yeah, it's a mental thing too. So I always recommend it to other people, and you know, not everyone's gonna take my advice because they're not taking it like me. They're not.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. It's just look. If it was easy,
Everybody would.
everybody would do it.
Exactly. I told a little kid that like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
He's complaining. He's like, he's just wheezing and stuff during the workout. I'm like, dude, if it was easy, like everybody would do it.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
So, how would it make you feel to actually get a kid all the way to the NBA?
Oh, that would be awesome.
That'd be sick, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
that would be so tough. Me and my buddy was talking about it earlier today, actually, because we had, like I said, 60 kids come out for tryouts, and we're like, some of these kids are tough. You know what I'm saying? So we're like, we get excited, and we're like, if we build a culture, like it's nothing to, you'll probably have one playing college before you know it, and then you'll have one get an opportunity to play in the league, and then you'll have one play in the league. You just gotta kind of focus on what we're doing and making sure that it's right, and it'll come eventually. But yeah, that's the end goal, right? To be able to get kids, not even to that, like, I wouldn't say that's the end goal. The end goal is to be able to get kids to college, right, and to get them better, and to be able to get them basically their school paid for, right, to get them a step closer to becoming pros if that's what they want to do.
So, that's something I just thought about. When it comes to fighting, okay, you got your coach, and usually that coach is going to be your coach until basically the end of your career. But with basketball, say you get a kid to the NBA, right? Well, when they get signed to that team, now their coaches are that team. So, like, would you still be like? I guess my question is, do basketball players that are in the NBA or pros that have, obviously they have their team coaches, right? Do they have other coaches outside of those coaches, or how does that usually work?
Yeah, great question. So basically how that works is like every level you have a different coach normally, unless it's like AAU and they're specifically with the team. But like normally you move up. So like in high school, you'll play for the freshman team, right? That'll have a coach. Then you play for the JV, then you have varsity, all different coaches, right? So I can still coach them because they play AAU, they're still in high school. Once they get to college, I'm hands off. So
Really?
I'm not their coach anymore. Now they can come back and they can do training, we can do stuff like that, but like I won't coach them in games, right? They send me film, I can chop up film, like I can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as far as like actively coaching them, my job is over. So if I don't do it right before they get out of high school, like I can't do anything else, right? So my hands are tied at that point. Now if I've done it correctly, once they get to college, they'll be able to replicate their success there and be able to move up again. But their college coaches have them once they get to college, and then after college, their pro coaches have them. So like, again, Coach Korn at SEMO, he'll always be my coach, right? But when I go play in Switzerland or England or wherever I'm going to play next, like I have a whole different coaching staff that don't know them at all.
That's
right?
interesting,
Yeah.
because I mean, if I was coaching a kid, they'd be like, all right, me teaching the kid how to fight, martial arts. Like, I wouldn't want to, once they get to UFC, like they get it different. Like, oh, now I got a UFC coach. Like, nah, I'm your coach, buddy. I got you
Right,
here.
and that's different.
Like,
That's more of a
yeah.
no, that makes a lot of sense because your sport is more like it's you.
But
You know what I'm saying?
then also it's like I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like if I had someone say I was a kid, all right, and you taught me from age 13 to when do people usually get out of college?
Out of college, 22.
Yeah. okay, 22, and then I get to the to an NBA team, I would still want you to be my coach because I
Right.
feel like, you know, we like.
So I think we might be talking about two different things. Like, I'm talking about coaching in terms of like you're on my team, I'm coaching you. You might be talking about training.
Training, yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's
Now,
what I mean.
that's
Training, not
completely
coaching
different.
like on the side, like on the
Right,
sideline.
yeah, you're talking about
throughout
like,
the game.
yeah, that's a
Yeah, I meant
happens,
training.
that
Yeah.
happens throughout the league at all times. Like you have people who are like, yeah, hey man, you've been my trainer since day one. I don't train with anybody else. Like,
Okay.
you know, and then they're flying you out, or you know, they pay them $150,000 and they live with them.
Okay.
You know, and then
Cool.
like, you know what I mean, stuff like that. You have stuff like that going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like in terms of high school and college, it's different. Like it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? But like you can have the same trainer throughout high school, college, pro, right? So if I have a kid, right, and I have him like, okay, so say one of the 15 U's that I have ends up going to college, right? He comes back, we can train. I'm still his trainer, you know what I mean? He goes to the NBA, okay? Now he has a little bit more money. He wants to be like, Chris, come out here or I'll fly you out to work me out and I'll fly you back home, whatever it is. Like they'll do stuff like that because I'm still his trainer. You know what I mean? But he'll also have other people in the league that are there to help him,
Okay.
right? So he can elect to be like, no, like all them people can come, but like Chris is my head trainer. You know what I mean? And like that's who's gonna train me.
Okay.
Or you might have it to where the team comes in and be like, no, like this is your trainer. You know what I'm saying? Depending on kind of what the team, you know, it's just different for everybody. But like, you know,
Okay.
you know, you have LeBron's trainer, right? He's probably not, unless he has a reason to switch his trainer. He's probably not gonna switch. You got somebody like Chris Paul, who's been in the league for a while, probably not gonna switch. You know, but you get somebody like, I don't know, somebody who's first 2 or 3 years in the league, you know, who might just be shopping around and might need to want to leave their trainer, right, and go to a different trainer, right? So it's all different. It just depends. Right?
Because not every trainer is the same, right?
And not all
So-
people have trainers. Like some people are just like that. You know what I'm saying? They just
Yeah.
worked out on their own and they just got to the league. You know?
What?
Yeah. I mean, there's people like obviously you don't do it on your own, but like you worked out.
But they don't have like a
Right.
person that's really like teaching them on like
Right.
outside of the team that they're playing on.
Right. You have those diamonds and stuff like that happen, but like for the most part, you have somebody mentoring you. But man, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people who you know are getting up by themselves at 6 a.m. and going and putting in the work. You know,
Mm.
so that's why I tell them there's always someone working. Especially going to these other countries, you got people who would kill to be just in the States playing. So there's always someone working.
Right. So and that's like I would assume that the best players are in the USA, but I mean,
It depends, right? With overseas basketball, a lot of it depends on talent, but a lot of it is what you want. So there's a lot of players overseas that could play in the NBA. Now, does that mean they'll start? No. You know what I'm saying? They can play. They're good enough to play. But why would they go play 15 minutes a game in the NBA when they can go overseas, make a little bit less money, right? And you're playing the entire game and your name is on every billboard and you're the face of the organization.
right.
You know what I mean?
That sounds better.
Right. You know what I mean? It sounds
Yeah.
way better. Like so say they signed a $5 million contract in the league. They might pay you $2 million to go somewhere else. But now your role is completely different. Right. At that point, it's what you want. What do you want? Are you really that fixated on the league that you're going to give up your happiness when you're playing? Because you're going to be
Right.
happier over there playing. Maybe not, depending on family situation and all that. You're going to be happier, especially in my position, if I'm a scorer, right? You're going to be happier being a scorer, being a first option on a team than you will be a scorer in the league, knowing you're not getting in. You're not playing over Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? You have to
Right.
wait your turn. And by the time you get there, it's Anthony Edwards' time now. You know what I mean? It's somebody else coming in. So, like, you may never get your shot. You know what I'm saying? In the league. You can stay there. You can make plenty of money, but you might not have any fun in terms of playing and getting to fulfill your dreams. Because a lot of people have dreams of getting to the NBA, and then people have dreams of playing in the NBA. Completely different. You know what I'm saying? Being
Right.
LeBron in the league or being somebody who's been on
The bench?
the bench and still gets a ring.
The guys on the bench, how much do they typically make?
I mean, the league minimums now, at least, it's different for veterans and stuff, but I think it's at least like 500,000 to 750,000 league minimum. I think the salary cap just went up a couple of years ago, so
Dang.
I could be wrong. So yeah, you're gonna be making about $1 million at the bench. Now, if you're a first year player, probably not.
That's sweet.
But who knows? Depending on draft.
I can warm that bench real nice.
But that's what I'm saying. Now, like, it depends on what you want. Like, you might be cool with being a role player, being a practice player.
Because on the bench, you're still on the team, but
you're still
for
in
one,
the USA.
less work,
Yeah.
less responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, you're not expecting much, but also with that, less security, right?
True.
You know what I'm saying? There might be Joey over there who's able to come.
You pull up and they're like, hey, you're on my spot. That's my spot on the bench. It's like, nah,
not
you're
anymore.
Cut.
Literally, and
You're
there's
cut.
nothing you can do. And now you're trying to surf the NBA to find another team. Now
In
you can't
sports,
find another team.
man, I don't know a lot about sports, but from what I've seen on like television and stuff, it's cutthroat.
Yeah,
I just watched this. Have you seen that show, Ballers,
I haven't.
with The Rock?
No, is it good?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
maybe I have to give it a watch.
It's good. And I don't keep up with sports and nothing like. I'm not like the sports guy, but it was good.
Really?
You know, of course, The Rock's a great actor too. So
Yeah, he is a really good actor.
But yeah, it's good. It's about football players, and I think there might be a basketball player or two on there, but it's mostly about football players. But it's just about like he's like an agent for them, and it's just like it's crazy how like cutthroat it is, and how it just kind of shows like a little bit like how it can be as an agent and then as an athlete too. It's pretty. It was a good show.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like it's cutthroat. Like you get sent home, you can get shipped off. Like there's people who have families who get traded. You know what I'm saying? And now you have to. Your daughter was just going to school. You know what I'm saying? Now you have to up everything. You could leave them here, but that depends again on your income and your financial stability. Can you afford to do that, or do they have to up everything with you and leave? You know what I mean?
The Rock was popping pain pills left and right on that show.
He's in pain
because he was a retired football player, and he was jacked up.
Dude.
So he's just Viking after Viking every episode.
People don't understand that. That's the thing too. Like once you're done playing, like you're dealing with a lot of issues for like the rest of your life as an athlete. Like, and that's why a lot of people getting upset about NIL and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, like that's cool, but like, what about all the football players who are like mentally messed up and played in all these big SEC games, and like maybe they never made it to the NFL, but like the people pay millions and millions of dollars to watch them put on a show, and they've got nothing, and now they're walking away with
CTE. They can't even function properly.
You can't. Yeah, you're literally at a disadvantage now. Oh, but he got his school paid for. You know what I mean?
That's why, like, the league should have these organizations, even like the UFC. They should have like a retirement for these athletes.
I mean, once you get to be a pro, like you're a pro, like that's different. But I'm talking about like college.
Oh, you're talking about college?
Yeah, like you're in college and you're getting paid. Like once you're a pro, like you can go out and seek that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the college players. It was just a few years ago they actually start allowing them to get paid.
But that's what I'm saying.
They used to not be able to get paid at all.
There has to be some in motion for these boys to be like, okay, like I don't have to play basketball or football or whatever it is for the rest of my life if I don't want to. I just got paid this $250,000 my sophomore year, right? How am I gonna budget this or whatever it is to where next year if I get paid this again? Now, you know what I'm saying? To where once I'm done playing, I can be done playing if I don't genuinely like football. Because there's a lot of people out there playing football who don't genuinely like it, but they're like, I don't have any other way out. Right. I have plenty of basketball players, a lot of my friends who are like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't hoop. And then next thing you know, they're out over there in Iraq playing just to play. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So like you don't have anywhere for college athletes to, now you have them, because before it was like, oh, college athletes can't make any money. Yeah, obviously everything's involved. Now you're making money. Okay. Right. Now where is the structure for these athletes to understand how much money they're actually making and how they can take care of themselves and their family? Some of them will. Some of them will have family members. Some of them have this and that and the
Some of them ain't that smart.
But some of them just aren't that smart.
Yeah.
So like that infrastructure that you're saying.
When you get paid hundreds of thousands, or if we're talking about a pro, if you get paid millions of dollars and like a few years later you're broke, it's like you're not that smart.
Yeah, it's like you got more money than a lot of people accumulate in their whole life, and you already blew it all.
Now, I can understand if you get a couple years in and, you know, you bought a nice house, you've been taking care of your family and, you know, giving money to charity and stuff, and then all of a sudden you get this injury and now you can't play anymore, and you was expecting to play for the next couple of years, and then, you know, that money now I can start to invest this money because I got everything I need. That's different. But if you played for several years and you made several millions and you're getting towards the end of your career and you're broke,
That's what I'm saying. Like you have like there's league minimums. So like you're a vet now. So you play 15 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what it is for the league, the exact number. 15, 20 years, you're a vet. There's no way you should be going broke. You know what I'm saying? Now,
exactly.
3, 4, 5 years, that's understandable. You live lavishly. Like we said, your goal was to make it to the NBA, not play in the NBA. Now you get cut, right, because you're comfortable. You're complacent now that you got there. You're like, I'm here. I'm getting paid money. And then you get cut, and now you don't have any money, right? I'm too good to go overseas, even though they're going to pay you $500,000, but you don't want to go overseas and play.
Should I go?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people won't, though, man. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people will like, no, I'm cool. Like, it's the NBA or nothing. And I'm like, I get it. I feel it. Like, it's not for everybody. Same way that some people's goal is just to play basketball at the next level. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll go anywhere and play. And then other people are like, I'm only playing. So
what was your goal with basketball?
To play pro. Obviously, I wanted to play in the NBA, but to play professionally and my goal was to get paid to play basketball. So technically, I fulfilled that going to college because they pay for my academics and food and everything like that. But once I hit an actual pro, I felt like I achieved that goal of being paid to play basketball. So technically, my goal as a kid was never to play pro. It was to get paid to play basketball and be able to do that for a living.
Right.
So I feel like I've achieved that goal up to this point. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's my goal too. To get paid to fight, and not have to do anything else. If I can just wake up and just train and get ready for fights, I'm happy.
Yeah, but I mean, there's other ways also. Like you can do that, and then like I said, I do that, and then I have an AAU team. You know, I do training. Like there's other ways outside of that to amplify your brand and stuff like that. To where it's like, okay, yeah, my main goal was to make money playing basketball, right? But I'm making money coaching basketball. I'm making money training. You know what I'm saying? I'm making money doing a lot of different other things, different branches.
Yeah, like my teammate and I, we just opened up a dojo like 4 months ago. So, you know, getting paid to teach people how to fight, that's also, you know, another way. Basically, to just for martial arts to pay the bills. That's like my overall goal, because I mean that's the only thing I'm fascinated with, really.
Yeah, man, we should do something for these kids. I got because it's good for them to experience different sports. So if you want to, you know, kick their ass for a session, I'd be more than happy to do something like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, because they think it's all gonna be this kid that they've seen on all the podcasts and all the media and everything. I'm gonna be super nice. It's like, nah, we're here to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be tough on them. So I want them to get different experiences like that, and to be able to you know come in and do like your conditioning. You know what I'm saying? And be like, oh, like basketball conditioning is completely different. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's completely different. Like you'd kick my ass right now in any conditioning we do with anything you do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
No way.
Because I mean, a guy your size, I'd be on your back like a backpack.
That's what I'm saying. But
I'm gonna just first things first. Let's get him tired.
But that's what I'm saying. Like by the time, like I might be able to fight you off for 1 or 2 minutes, but then after that I'm gassed. I have, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't do it forever. You're trained for that. It'd be the same thing playing basketball. You can stop me from scoring.
Huffing and puffing.
Right. But after 3 or 4 times, you're not going to be able to stop me anymore from scoring. You know what I'm saying? It's over with. And it has nothing to do with your ability. It's you knowing the game, or you knowing how to fight, and me knowing the game. Now I know you're tired. You know, you know how to beat me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all it is, man.
Yeah. I don't think I've. I mean, I don't think. I know I haven't ever like seen anyone of your caliber play in person. Like I haven't even been to any of the SEMO games or anything like that before.
Really?
So, yeah, I haven't.
You gotta go, man. They're pretty good. They won the OVC again this year.
What's that?
What's that? The conference for that SEMO plays in? That's wild.
Dude, I don't watch sports. I don't.
Fun. Hey, there's a first time for everything, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I look. I appreciate all types of athletes. If basketball, football, you know, I almost said soccer. What? No, I'm joking. Soccer,
players be
no,
getting
no,
to it. That's
dude. Soccer
I'm
is
cool on it though.
is rough. Rock climbing, cyclists. Like when I see an athlete that is like awesome at his craft, like I can sit and watch video on it all day, but I just never really sat and watched basketball and football. Now my older brother, he's all into that. He knows all about that stuff. All those abbreviations you just said and stuff, OVC or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it's a language. Probably same thing with fighting. You know, it's a language. Same thing with investing. Same thing with anything you do. Like it's a different language you got to learn.
Right, exactly.
That's all it is.
So SEMO's pretty good.
Yeah, man. We won. We went to the NCAA tournament in 2023, and then they just turned around and won the OVC outright, the conference outright, this year in 2025.
Dang.
So, yeah, man, they're changing. That's their first outright championship in 20 years, and then that was our first tournament appearance in 20 years. So we've done a lot of things good, you know, for the community in the last 3-4 years. Like ever since COVID hit and Coach Corn took over, I think the perception, the image and perception of the program has definitely changed and for the better. So no complaints, man. We've been I say we like I still play there, but
I mean you say we because you have played there, and you know.
Yeah. But yeah, they've been we've been good, man. Transfer portal kind of hit us a little bit with some of our stars this year, but we got plenty of guys coming back that can hoop. So I'm excited to see how it goes, man.
You know what's crazy? You do look taller in person than you do in your pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
well, maybe it's because it's because you're. No, it's because your Facebook picture you're sitting down. So
yeah, I don't even know what picture.
It's you sitting on the SEMO. You're in a SEMO jersey or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I look. Yeah. Funny thing about that picture. My mom and dad are directly behind me. That's why.
Really?
I love that picture. Yeah, that was one of my last days in the SEMO jersey.
Okay.
Pretty cool moment.
That's cool. So you had some. What are, you got any crazy like some crazy stories, like basketball stories, like?
Yeah. So like, what do you mean? Like just
some moments that was like really like mind blowing to you. Doesn't have like I got loads of stories when it comes to fighting. Honestly, fighting is a little bit more like crazy.
Right. I'd say the craziest story.
Have you ever dunked on anybody in a game?
Yeah. Like that was more so like my freshman year though. Once I got a little older, that was out. But probably the craziest experience, dude, was one winning the MVP for the tournament. You know, and breaking down that barrier because we hadn't been there in so long.
Okay, MVP. Then, I know that abbreviation.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I know that abbreviation.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
That moment was cool, man, just because I had been, like I said, there's a lot of shit that I went through being at SEMO in terms of injuries, you know, coaching changes, going through it with them. You know, me and Corn butting heads, you know, when he first got there, weren't getting along too much. And then obviously we got it together and got a championship at the end. But there was just a lot of stuff going on. You know, I played with over, 40 different players at my time at SEMO. And for a basketball team, like, that's a lot. That means, like, you got 6 or 7 people leaving every year. So, I'm the only one still there year after year after year. So, it was a lot. And to be able to win the tournament for the school and then win the MVP on top of that all those years later, that was definitely one of the best moments. But on top of that, dude, and maybe it's just because it was the last year, it's the most fresh. The NCAA tournament, I have this moment in my head that I'll never forget. We're going down, we're down at this point, and we're making a run back, and the ball gets swung to me, and I just hear one of my coaches like, blow the roof off this motherfucker, right? Like literally, like, and it's packed, right? It's packed out, like you can't hear anything, but then that's all I hear is blow the roof. So I shoot the ball, and that ball went in the hoop, and the entire arena erupted. It was like 15,000 people in the arena. That was one of the craziest moments in my life. Dang. Just because it was like, like we're the first game of March Madness. Like everybody's watching. You know what I'm saying?
I know what March Madness is.
Right. Like maybe not everybody, but a lot of people are watching that game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like now they're chanting, they're chanting for us and everything, and like chanting my name and stuff. Like it's like nuts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Stuff that you never really tight, it's dude. Like, and that's what I mean. Like you have dreams, right? But you never like, you don't know how you'd feel in those moments, you know, and like being able to go to the tournament, you know, playing. Obviously, we lost, and you know, I attribute that to my play and you know me not being the best leader I could have been for those guys that year. But I mean, man, it was that's probably the best two moments. So the MVP and then that. Or okay, last one. I'll give you the third one. As soon as I get there, right, fresh out, I go to a D2, transfer to a JUCO, then finally get to my Division I. My dad drives down to my first ever home game, and he's in the gym with me right before the game shooting. We're doing a lot of stuff. And, you know, the first game he's ever seen me play, he comes down, and the team hasn't won since last year. You know what I'm saying? So they're on like a 6-7 game losing streak. And I end up hitting a game winner, like my second game ever in a jersey. My dad was there, and he was like going crazy. And that was a crazy moment for me because that's when it was like solidified to me getting to Division I and like playing and like, you know, you can't take that from me. You know what I mean? Like you can't say I'm not good enough anymore. Basically, kind of moment for me. So that went from that to not being good enough to being one of the best. You know what I'm saying? And that just full circle stuff like that. So that's kind of a couple different moments. Yeah, man.
You know, I really envy basketball players in the sense of like, and even other performers like rappers and stuff, because you got all these people cheering for you, you got the spotlight on you, and you don't have to worry about someone punching you in the face.
Yeah. Well, hey, you didn't.
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, it can happen. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that's not the goal. Like the other players aren't like, but because fighting, I love performing in front of people, having people cheer for me, but it's like I gotta make sure I don't get beat up. It's not an easy thing to do. So it's like it'd be cool to like if I could get in there and like maybe do something else.
Right? Isn't it crazy how like you're so focused on what you're doing, you kind of like zone out.
Oh yeah,
and it's like you said, like you're like I gotta make sure I can don't get hit in the face. Like I need to be able to hear, see, smell everything.
Yeah,
like, I need all my senses locked in right there. You know what I mean? It's crazy how that works, man.
So, as a parent of a kid that is playing basketball, do you like what's the best approach? Let's say I'll say a father. I know this is probably a better question for fathers. What's a good approach for a father when their kid's playing? Because I've heard other athletes. One in particular is the fighter Brennan Schaub. He was saying that like it's best if you just sit back and let your kid play and not be on them about like all this and all that. Like just shut up and let them do their thing. Like he was saying, a lot of the parents that didn't, like a lot of them, especially the fathers that wanted to be an athlete but didn't make it, they kind of like are so hard on their kids. And then he said, when you see like a really good professional athlete and their kids start playing, they're not like that. They just kind of sit back and let them do their thing. And I feel like that's what I do. Like when I went and watched my son's games, I don't say anything. I just sit there and watch him play.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of people, that's a great question. So I think a lot of people have a misconception about a lot of people who get to the NBA and then they hear these stories about how their dads were crazy and stuff like that about training and stuff. I don't think it's so much like crazy in terms of pushing them, but like crazy in terms of how much they believe that they can do with what they're saying that they want to do. So they're making every option available to them. Now, if that's making the training as hard as it can be, that's making the training as hard as it can be. That's completely different than getting on your kid because he's not as good as he should be right now. You know, and that's kind of where the difference lies. You have to know, and that's why I feel like a lot of people view it as, you know, pro players aren't really like that. No, I guarantee you they're still on their kids, right? But they're on their kids about the things that matter right now, right? So it's very important to answer your question, like, about how fathers should approach it. It's very important that you understand who your kid is and how they feel about the sport, and then you can gauge how you should coach them, right?
Okay.
If they're like, I want to be in the NBA, I want to do this, that, and the third, maybe they need a trainer or someone or you need to start training with them right now. If they're just like, I want to play basketball, right, let them play basketball, right? But as they get older and they're like, no, I want to do this, now you start to get a little bit more on them, right? But it can never be to the point where you got to keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is the kid, right? The main thing is about the development of this kid, not for sports, right? They want to be a good basketball player. They want to be a good football player, whatever it is, but they need to be a good person first and foremost. Once you do that, everything else will take care of itself. And I feel like if you can keep that in mind when you're coaching a kid to be the best that they can be, you'll be an amazing coach because you're always going to be on their ass, right, and push them, but you're never going to push them to the point where you become insane to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of times, like, looking back, like, it seemed like my dad was insane, right? But in reality, like, man, like, why is he telling me to go dribble outside? Chris, did you do anything athletically today? Did you do anything academically today?
Yeah.
Man, why is he on my ass? Now at 26 years old, did I read today? Did I work out today? You know what I'm saying? It's just a different mindset. Now he's instilled that into me as a man to be like, okay, I need to take care of what I need to take care of before I can do anything else, right? So it's instilling those values and stuff in the training that'll take over with the training, right? The training basketball is going to be the same in and of itself, but your relationship with your kid is what's the most important. So don't, like I said, if you need to have another kid, another person train him or whatever it may be, not just you, right? We're talking to any dad out there. That might be the avenue, right? If he just wants to play, just let him play. If he's like, no, like, now if he wants to, he goes out there and plays, right, and gets his butt kicked and comes back and is like, I want to get better. Now that's a whole different, right? That's when we amp it up and it's like, okay, well, you need to start doing some training. Well, now we need to sit down and have a conversation because now if I'm going to start paying money for you to be training, you have to take this seriously, right? And then that allows you to reinforce it on the back end and be like, hey, no, we talked about this. Yeah, it's hard, whatever. You're going to do this, right? We're not just bailing. You told me you wanted to do this, right?
Yeah.
You made this decision. Now it's completely off of the dad's back, you know, him forcing the kid and all that, right? You made this decision. Finish the season. We'll talk about it after the season. You know what I'm saying? We're not starting stuff and then we're not just going to just quit and bail halfway through.
Right.
But I'd say that's the best approach. It's just, you know, gauge it with your kid, understand what your kid truly wants out of the game. If he just wants to go play with his friends, let him go play. But if he comes back, he wants to be, no, I want to be the best out of my friends. Have a conversation. Okay, you need to start training. Well, can you train with me once or twice a week? After a month, he doesn't want to do it anymore. Probably don't need to be paying for training then. You know what I mean? But after a month or two, you're kind of like, okay, I've taught him all the basics, and he's still like, let's go train, and you're kind of like, oh, like, I need some more help. Right? That's when you go and seek more help. You know what I mean?
So, like, during your kid's game, if you feel like their coach ain't really saying the right things to them to get them to, like, play their hardest, you feel like the parents should step in and like, pull their kid to the side and say something? Because, all right, so my son, one of his basketball games, this was, like, a few months back, whenever, he was playing, and it looked like he was kind of, like, not really all in. Like, it was kind of, I'll say he was getting kind of frustrated, I guess, maybe with himself or with his teammates or something. And when they came back to huddle up, his mom and I was like trying to talk him up a little bit, saying a couple things to him, especially me, because look, I can motivate my son unlike anybody else.
Right, exactly.
You know,
yeah.
So when I went to say, we're saying something to him, and he's like leant over the bench or whatever, like listening to us, and his coach turns and looks. And he grabs him. He's like, Willie, and he grabs him by his jersey and, like, pulls him back. And so I got up and started snapping on the coach, and, like, I was about to beat this old dude's ass.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, look, it's your kid.
Right.
Like, so who cares at the end of the day? It's your kid. Now, has the coach talk to you about how they're going to coach them?
And it wasn't because he grabbed his jersey and pulled him back. It was the look on his face.
Yeah, and how he was talking to
like
him.
Like he did it at his, like, anger and frustration. First of all, where was this energy at the beginning of the game?
Mm-hmm.
You wait till they get down bad to get all invested in it. Because as they were starting to lose, the coach was just standing there looking all nonchalant. Yeah. But, now that they're down 20 points, now you want to get serious? The game is over with, buddy.
Yeah,
we're just trying to coach our son up.
Now you're doing it for you.
But he grabbed him. I'm just like, I started snapping on him, and then I'm just like, this dude don't even realize, like, dude.
Exactly. I know you already, yeah, exactly.
I will lay your old ass out in front of everybody here. And guess what? Ain't nothing going to happen to me because you just grab my 14-year-old son by his shirt and yanked him towards you like he's a grown man.
Yeah.
You don't put your hand on any kid.
And that's what it is, man. Like you can coach, you can yell, you can scream, as long as you're not disrespecting the kid, right? You're not getting out of body, and you're not. Like you said? Why are you putting your hands on the kid? Now you grab him, you're like, "Come here," that's one thing. But you're snatching him up like you somebody's dad. That's a different story. You know
what do you think this is?
Yeah,
playoffs.
Exactly, but you got to think like these are people's kids. So it's like if you don't snatch him up like that, why the hell would he snatch him up like that? You know what I'm saying? That's not. You know what I'm saying? Like
Dude,
there's no way you're touching my kid
but look,
like that.
When I stood up and he realized quick,
yeah,
and he started to apologize and stuff. But look,
so
if he had said one wrong thing,
yeah,
he was gonna go out on the stretch.
But I say, man, the best way to handle that is, I would say, one, I think you did good by stepping in, but just have a conversation with the coach. You know, as long as the kid not hurt or anything. Now, if the kid's crying and all that and he's hurt, obviously it's a different story. But as long as the kid's not hurt, you know, have a conversation with the coach and be like, look, man, like, I understand you want these guys to be the best, but one, don't put your hand on my kid.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And two, you need to figure out how to get through to these kids a different way. Because it's not working. You know what I'm saying?
And your old ass need to tread lightly, because here's the thing. My son will beat him up.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And I asked my son, I'm like, son, I'm sure you know I'll beat him up like if you want me to, right? Like if he made you feel something, he's like, trust me, I would.
Right, exactly.
And my son, he knows how to fight too. Like,
but that's when you get into those situations where you see like coaches and players fighting, but it's like the coach is the grown man.
Yeah.
You the one that's held accountable. You know what I'm saying? Respect, like
I talked to him after the game too, and I'd let him know. I said, I'd say this right now. If I ever see something like that again, it'd be the last time you ever touch a child.
Yeah, nah, for real though.
Like
literally, like what's wrong with you? But you know that's like
again, I said, it wasn't how he did. If he had to do it like Willie, come on, pay attention, like
right,
cool. But he was like all like angry, so like, bro, you grabbed my son like you want to get your ass beat,
right?
And I was confused. I'm like, I don't know about sports. I don't know if this is a normal thing. But this energy was all off. I'm like, this is not cool. Like it was not cool the way he did it.
As a parent, man, you just gotta find the right place for your kid. You know,
yeah.
Might not be the right coach for him.
Well, it was the school's coach or whatever. But I just thought it was just very, very strange how he did that. Cause look, I would never do that
to anybody's kid. As mad as I am.
Look, I teach kids how to fight, and I wouldn't grab a kid like that. Not out of anger. Like I said, it was like he was doing it out of anger. He wasn't doing it like to get his attention. It was the look on his face.
But that's what it comes back to.
God.
Like we were saying, you got a bunch of dads and people who don't really understand the game. So now when stuff is happening and you don't understand, one, the game, and two, that they're little kids and that they don't understand the game, now your emotions are getting the best of you. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. You should not be coaching. You don't know the game well enough to handle the stress of coaching smaller kids who don't know the game at all.
It was like, dude, you're mad because we're trying to coach our son up. You should be mad because y'all losing the damn game. He wasn't worried about the game. He was mad because he wasn't listening when he's. Dude, your coaching sucks anyways.
Right.
You ain't helping these kids at all.
Right, we're losing by 20.
They're getting
it's not even
smoked.
a competitive game.
Oh, man, they was getting smoked bad. Hey, they was getting smoked bad.
That's crazy.
I was like, God dang.
That's wild.
Yeah, but
yeah, man, that's tough, bro.
Yeah, so that's what I was just, but I asked my son, I was like, is he like this? And stuff like that, like I said, was the way he did it. When I see stuff like that, it makes me wonder, like, what is he doing during practice?
Like
what is like this? I wouldn't trust this guy around any younger kids.
Right.
My son's 14. He's a teenager, so he's gonna be less affected by it. And then also, my son's a beast. He's not like no little sissy. But I'm like,
how big is he?
He's like, I don't know, like 5'10" or
for real?
Something. He's pretty tall. He's sprouted and like. In like a year,
pretty good?
He's sprouted.
Basketball?
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't been playing basketball very long, but he's got raw talent.
Okay.
Like he's just he's very athletic and he's intelligent. Like you can teach him something and you can see he's grasping it mentally and he's figuring out how to do it with his body mechanics. Opposed to you trying to tell a kid something and they're not really getting it. Like because he started. I put him in martial arts when he was like age 5, so he's really good at like understanding his balance and he's very intelligent. Like so he's good. I have to bring him to you and
I even like I said, obviously I did tryouts yesterday and I got 5-6 different teams and 14U is one of them. So if he's interested in playing, even on one of our developmental teams, that'll give him more reps and more, actual training on how to play basketball.
But yeah, he said he wants to be a hooper, so I'm like, I want to see how serious he's gonna take it, if he's gonna be a psychopath about it. Which I mean,
you never know.
If he's anything like me, then he probably will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if it's what he wants to do, because I mean, but yeah, he's I don't know. I have to let you see. I don't know. I could say he's good, and
yeah. I mean you're supposed to.
I mean, honestly, look. If you want me, I'm hoping he ain't gonna watch this. He might feel some type of way about this. If you ask me, I'll say he's not good, but that's because I don't know how good a 14-year-old is supposed to be.
Right, exactly.
All I know is the clips of NBA games I've seen. So if I'm comparing to an NBA player.
You're like, he needs some work.
I'm like, he needs some work. I'm like, why you not crossing people over? Why you not dunking and like? But I don't know how good a 14-year-old is supposed to be. So but he couldn't beat me 1-on-1. So
I mean, I don't know. You never know. Then
I mean, I'm saying he hasn't. Not that he can't, because I'm sure probably within the next year or so
he's getting to that age, 1 or 2 years, to where he might be able to get you.
Yeah.
Especially if he's playing like every day.
But yeah, I don't know basketball, so I can't. Yeah. You asking me if he's good, that's like you might as well just ask the wall.
Right.
You know,
yo, no.
Or a fly buzzing around the room. I just really don't know. I don't know how good he's supposed to be. I don't know what he's supposed to be working on. I mean, I know athletics, like, but I don't know sports like that.
Right, yeah.
Like,
makes sense.
So I don't know. Like when I was watching him play, I was asking him, well, why you not doing this? Why you not doing that? But I'm also asking him in the sense of like, I don't know why you're not doing it. Because I felt like his size, I feel like he should have been like really coming in the paint and like getting past the kids or going through them.
Right. And that's the stuff we work on. Like I said, a lot of our stuff we do, a lot of the practices are better for the boys in the games because you got to drill what you're going to be doing in the games. So that's kind of.
And then like when I'd ask him like, why you not going through them? This and they like, oh, that's a foul. They'll call a foul. They'll call a foul.
So you just don't know. He doesn't know how necessarily.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he just has to learn how.
Right? You talk to him, he would know. I don't.
Yeah, I mean you're his dad too. So.
I'm just saying, like as far as like I can't talk to him about basketball because I don't know basketball. Yeah. All I can do is ask him what he knows about basketball. I can't tell him anything. I can tell him about the mindset of what it takes to be a championship basketball player, because it's no different than a championship football player, a championship fighter. Like I understand that, but I don't understand basketball techniques and strategies. I don't know X's and O's.
Yeah, he'll be good. I'll get him. We'll get him in the gym and see what we can do. We'll whip him into shape.
But yeah, because he's been training under one of my friends, Corey Frazier. I don't know if you know him, but
so he's good then. He doesn't need.
Yeah,
he's good.
But I mean, it's good to learn from other people too.
Oh, of course,
yeah.
So I'm more than open, but I'm saying like he's in good hands.
Yeah.
So it's like
okay. Yeah. So yeah, he's training with him, and then but his mom, she looks around for other stuff too. Like she was wanting to put him in this little basketball camp thing. So I might bring him to you eventually or something. We'll see.
I mean, I have camps, clinics.
Yeah.
Training.
I just want him. I want to make sure we're providing him with what he needs, to be successful, because, I didn't get that when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I just
now,
didn't get that.
Honestly, like, if you want to play basketball, you have to be training. You have to be doing stuff. Otherwise, you're just not going to be good.
Right.
Unless you're that diamond that I was talking about earlier. Who
right.
can just do whatever and eat whatever and sleep whenever and still go and dunk on people.
Right. Just show up to the gym and hit one of these and then just start hooping on everybody.
With no stretch.
Right.
Like,
freaks. You got people like that, but So, is there anything you want to talk about before I let you go? I know we've been going for a while. I ain't gonna keep you all day. Like anything with your training or anything like that?
No, I guess can I just address the camera? I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, what's up, everybody? It's Chris Harris from C5 Skills Academy, and just want to let you guys know we got camps, clinics, training, and even an AAU team going on this summer. So anything you guys are interested in, definitely give me a shout. My team would love to work with you guys.
How do they contact you?
You can contact me at c5skillsacademy.sketchplay.io or even text me at 573-381-2540.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, man. Now I feel obligated to watch some of your highlights and stuff like that, which I haven't yet. And usually I'd have him pull that stuff up, but as you've seen, our software was having a little mishap. So, but yeah, I recommend that y'all look him up. And if you got a kid that's around here and wants to play some basketball, wants to do a camp or something like that, definitely give him a call. And for those of you that are into martial arts, into fighting, if you like watching people get beat up, okay, I'm fighting May the 10th. Main event, once again, it's going to be at Lake of the Ozarks. It's going to be a Muay Thai bout. It's not MMA, so you ain't got to worry about none of that. None of that grabbing and wrestling and all that holding stuff, okay? It's punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. So I'm about to punch dude. I'm about to knee dude. I'm about to kick dude. I'm about to elbow dude, okay? May 10th, Lake of the Ozarks. It's going to be at the Encore Lakeside Bar and Grill. It's kind of like going to be in like this like open area overlooking the lake. So it's going to be pretty tight. So if you can, come out and watch me. If you can't make it there, they're going to be streaming it somewhere. So just go on my Facebook. I'll be sharing the links leading up to the fight. So you can probably pay like 10 or 20 bucks, sit at home and watch it with your family or whatever. So definitely be on the lookout for that on my Facebook page and my Instagram. Once again, everybody, share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Ain't no reason I should have more views than I got subscribers now. My last vlog had like 300 something views, and I'm like, I only got 200 something subscribers. This ain't making no sense. So we got some haters watching. All right, that's all right. Just keep on watching. Once again, I got to give a shout out to the sponsors. Okay, this video is brought to you by Duke Concrete Finishing and also VIP Lock Studio and Golden Eagle Tattoo. Another thing, buy some merch. Ain't no one, what's going on, guys? Come on. I got T-shirts. I got workout outfits. Just hit a brother up, all right? I'm trying to sell the right things, all right? I'm trying to sell the right things out here.
I don't blame you.
I can't speak for all. Come on now. We got some guys out here that ain't selling the right stuff. They selling that other stuff.
Hey, selling. That's a real thing.
Okay, I'm selling T-shirts now. So buy a T-shirt from me. Usually I actually would have my Rainmaker T-shirt on, but I gotta have my sponsor T-shirt on so y'all can always see that. But look on my Facebook and my Instagram. You'll see the T-shirts I got for sale and stuff like that. And with that being said, deuces.